Fun. Just wanted to sign on quick, make a quick, fun video in light of some recent valuations in the private sector that have kind of come through the media in the last few days. And just thought it would be fun to compare some of the valuations of some companies that we don't know as much about in terms of their, financials and and previous rounds versus some public companies that we all know so well. And I'll give my overall high level opinion, albeit I don't have too much background and perspective on these private companies. But the first one that shocked me was SpaceX, who just raised $750 million dollars at almost $140 billion valuation. So this was really shocking to me, especially, well, good on SpaceX in this environment to be a company like that raising at that kind of valuation. It's really impressive. They obviously have a lot going on. They must have a lot going on to get investors to be investing this kind of capital at that kind of valuation. But this really surprised me. Was really interested in looking at this and kind of looking at prior rounds. It looks like they have obviously a good relationship with NASA. They've had their fair share of setbacks, but clearly making headway in I guess the space segment, if you can call it that. Not going to pretend like I know a ton about SpaceX and their business, but just at a valuation level at $137 billion dollars, that means that they are more valuable than all of these companies that we're about to look at. The first one is Intuit, obviously best known for their tax software, but they also own QuickBooks, also own MailChimp, a lot of other assets, fast-growing software company that makes like $2 to $3 billion a year, I believe, valued at about $100 billion. So SpaceX is now worth 40% more than Intuit. Another one is PayPal, valued at $87 billion, so worth significantly more than PayPal, which owns Venmo, obviously the PayPal app payment processor for lots of online businesses. So this is one that owns $4 to $5 billion, pumping out essentially $1 billion+ of net income on a quarterly basis, but not worth close to as much as SpaceX. Goldman Sachs, we all know Goldman Sachs pretty well in terms of their presence in investment banking and everything else that they have their hands on, worth $116 billion. Now, Goldman Sachs, which has been around since I can remember, is now worth about 10 to 20% less than SpaceX is. So that's just remarkable. Starbucks, another one, $120 billion market cap, not as much as SpaceX. So these investors could have chosen to invest in Starbucks and gotten a bigger chunk of the company than they're getting in SpaceX, but they ultimately chose SpaceX would be a better investment. And then a funny one here as well, BlackRock, huge company, huge business in funds and such. Tons of people own assets that are managed by BlackRock. Has been around once again since before I can remember, but now about 40% less valuable than SpaceX. So just really interesting to see how like new company and emerging industries, despite not really being profitable, are still catching these kinds of valuations with interest rates at the level they are. I find it amazing personally. And once again, nothing against SpaceX. I don't know their business very well. But if I was to own all of SpaceX or all of PayPal or all of Starbucks or all of BlackRock, I would definitely prefer investing in one of these companies that have wide moats, pumping out tons of free cash flow to go and invest in other things or return capital to shareholders. So, I'm sure it's just one piece of a much broader picture in terms of the investors putting money in this company. But I think that's a massive valuation. I don't personally fully understand it. Another one, I think all of us who have been paying attention to the news have seen GPT's performance and all the really cool stuff using AI search that this new creation can really do in terms of optimizing search and becoming a lot more useful with information that's available on the web. I thought it was extremely cool. I played around with it a little bit. And then I saw this article that says they're in talks to value the company behind ChatGPT at almost $30 billion. Once again, this is just a product. I don't believe they have any significant streams of revenue. Obviously, potential in creating, a search engine and advertising like Google does. But $30 billion with just a product that still has some flaws that has to work through. AI technology that can still get replicated by the likes of Google and other companies. Probably Google already has similar technology. They've just been sitting on it to not disrupt their super profitable business. So this was another one similar to SpaceX that I was shocked to see a $30 billion valuation on the product. Not to diminish the product by any means. Very cool product, just massive valuation. And as we look at this product that no one knew existed 6 months ago, and I believe the company didn't even exist 5 to 10 years ago, compared their valuation to a company like Walgreens, who makes $3-4 billion a year, trading at a $30 billion valuation. Not to say they don't have their own problems, but still very interesting to see the market looking like they're about to value that product the same as all of the Walgreens businesses across the US and Europe. Another one, eBay, only valued at $23 billion, yet ChatGPT valued 30% higher than that. And then another business like Delta Airlines, once again, $22 billion, has been around forever, provides all kinds of services to get people from point A to point B for all kinds of business needs as well as personal. But the potential of ChatGPT is apparently worth significantly more than all of these products and services and all of the revenue and profits they're already bringing in. So you can tell I'm probably have a bit of a facetious tone to my voice. You can kind of get the sense of my opinion here. But it's not really about my opinion. I obviously don't dictate the market. So this is just something that I'm personally really surprised to see in this environment, that these kinds of companies are still getting this level of valuation for future potential. But would love to hear everyone else's opinion. Do you guys see more opportunity or maybe an opportunity to get the market sooner on something like ChatGPT in a way that makes revenues and profits? Same with SpaceX, definitely one I'm not an expert on, but is there opportunities for this company to start pumping out cash flow much sooner than I'm envisioning in my mind? Maybe. So would love for anyone else's opinion here on if these are investments that if they were public, if you would consider investing in them at these valuations, and if so, why you think this is a better place to invest at these valuations versus some of these public equities that we do have access to. Anyways, thank you guys for your time. If you like this kind of content, I do a lot more stock-related content, business reviews, stocks I'm buying, as well as reviewing just news off the cuff like this. So if you like this kind of content, please consider subscribing, commenting, liking the video. Until next time.